We started out with Cameron Heyward. Last year he was number 7, man. Yeah, it's the guy that's a legend. Definitely a Pittsburgh Steelers legend. A nightmare for me growing up with my football team. And I mean, just overall has been elite for so long. Um, and he will have his number retired in Pittsburgh. I guarantee that. Canton, I know Canton's a huge deal, and I know it's hard to get into, but you can make a case for Cam Heyward to have a shot at Canton. Honestly, you look at Cam Heyward, man, 35 years old, 13 years in the league. He's got 1 year, $16 million left on his deal. He played 11 games this year. He had 33 tackles, 2 sacks, 1 pass deflection, and 3.5 stuffs. Against the Bills in the wild card, he had 6 tackles and a stuff. Definitely his health sucks to see him not play a full year because his numbers I feel like would have been better. But I mean, it's still Cam Heyward. He's still a boss. He's still a legend. And he's still a huge X factor and a huge leader to this team. So overall, though, Cam Heyward needs to make this list just because it's Cam Heyward and he's still doing this at a high level. So give him credit, and yeah, I mean, very deserving of being on this list, especially when he's moved from DN, D tackle, kind of thing. But still great, and veteran in the D line. It's going to help them a lot, and hopefully he stays healthy this year. We're going to look at Josh Sweat, last year, honorable mention. This year made it to the list. Yeah, his numbers didn't increase by any chance, but his impact still is there. Definitely should have had bigger numbers. I mean, it's unfortunate, but they really do have a D line problem, and that means that they have way too many guys there that are just really good. So, sharing the stack totals and sharing the amount of defensive plays that they all get could be challenging. But I mean, Josh Sweat is still one of those guys that's very effective. You want him on the D line. The Eagles obviously kept him for a reason, and he's young, so he's able to still be very impactful for this team. And Josh Sweat's gonna do Josh Sweat, man. So overall, very very underrated guy. Absolutely. You look at Josh Sweat, 27 years old, 6 years in the league, 1 year, $10 million that he signed for the Eagles. Played 17 games, 43 tackles, 6.5 sacks, 2 forced fumbles, 1 pass deflection, and 2.5 stuffs. In the playoffs against the Bucks in the wild card, he had 4 tackles and a sack. So he was contributing. He was being effective, and I do hope that he has a better year, a lot more of a higher sack total number, just because I really do enjoy watching him and I want him to succeed, and he's got that ability to do that. So yeah, Josh Sweat, very deserving. Great. We got a new face, new place in the countdown. George Karlaftis, not even ranked on any video, honorable mention or top 10. Just overall, he's just been very impactful player for the Chiefs. Underlooked because they have Chris Jones, but he really came into his own this year and really shown what he's about and what he can do. And it was so good that I had to put him on the countdown. Um, for this list. Definitely a guy that's going to continue to be better, strive to be better, and I could still see him being a problem in Kansas City for the Chiefs. I think he's going to be a guy that's going to be an X factor for them winning that three-peat. To be honest with you, I think George Karlaftis is going to have to step up and make some plays, and I think he will step up and make plays. It's just another Chief. That's just another problem for the NFL, and if you're not a Chief fan, then you're pretty depressed right now, just because they got players that can just ball out. Our offense, we've already, addressed that. Now, defense wise, I'm already starting with the Chief. It's crazy. But George Karlaftis has really come into his own. 23 years old, 2 years in the league. He's got 2 years, 4.12 million on his rookie deal. Played 16 games, 47 tackles, 10.5 sacks, 1 forced fumble, 3 pass deflections, and 2.5 stuffs in the playoff run for playing the Dolphins, the Bills, the Ravens, and the Niners when they won that Super Bowl. He had 19 tackles, 3 sacks, 2 forced fumble recoveries, 1 pass deflection, and 2 stuffs. So made himself well known in the postseason. He was explosive, helped him out a lot this year, And yeah, I think he's going to be a problem, and I think he's going to continuously develop. And we'll see if they even have the money to pay him when it's time. But as of right now, it's part of Chiefs Kingdom, and he's going to be a pretty big reason that this defense stays relevant the way they have been, because they were fantastic last year, great defense. So yeah, I don't see anything changing for this team. And George Karlaftis, good for him. He's finally on this countdown. 7, we got Jonathan Greenard. Last year, not even ranked on the top 10 honorable mention list. Another guy that's it's pretty exciting to watch him play this past year, and he did enough for me to even make a jump for him to go to top 10, straight to top 10. Yeah, young guy, young stud, got drafted by the Texans, and huge loss for the Texans. They lost him to free agency. He's going to be very impactful in his new home. And you look at what Jonathan Greenard has done, 27 years old, 4 years in the league. He signed a 4 year, $76 million deal with the Vikings. That really does bolster their defense. It makes them a lot more terrifying on the pass rush, which they definitely wanted, um, especially because they were having some trouble out there on the defensive side of the football. So, you want to make some game wrecking plays, and I think having Jonathan Bernard there, it's going to be pretty good. Um, it's a positive for him. Look at Grenard. 15 games that he played, 52 tackles, 12 and a half sacks, one forced fumble, two pass deflections, and nine stuffs. Against Cleveland and Baltimore, he had five tackles and one and a half stuffs. No Pro Bowl or nothing, but still a very key guy, X factor on the team. I think Houston, while they did sign Danico Autry, I do believe it's kind of a downgrade for him with youth wise and productivity. I definitely believe Grenard's got a brighter future. So we will see what happens with what goes on here. But overall, it's a great signing for Minnesota, and he's going to continue to do what he does and climb up these rankings. I'm hoping for him and his career. 6, I got Montez Sweat. Last year wasn't even mentioned on any list, but he was still a very vital piece to the Commanders team. He just got overlooked and overshadowed by Darren Payne and Jonathan Allen, in that D line there. But Montez Sweat was very, very effective there. Goes to Chicago, really shows what kind of edge rusher, pass rusher he really is, and the ability of what he can do to bring to a team and impact it. He's done a tremendous job. Chicago's got something brewing. I know they're tired of losing, and they look like they're tired of losing. They're having great drafts, great free agent signings. I mean, they are looking to win a possible division at this point, with this division being possibly the best division in football about to be, just because they got Detroit, Minnesota out here looking nice, they're looking better. Green Bay already, he's there. Jordan loves the truth for sure. Um, other than that, I mean, uh, yeah, the Bears, Lions, Packers, um, and the Vikings. It's crazy. Like all those teams can make a run. But Montez Sweat, we're looking at Montez Sweat specifically for the Bears. You're looking at 27 years old, 6 years in the league. He signed a 4 year, $98 million contract with the Bears there. 17 games that he played, 57 tackles. He had 12 and a half sacks. He also had three forced fumbles, four pass deflections, and nine and a half stuffs to make him a Pro Bowler. So I think he's going to continue to do what he does. He's going to showcase his talent, and yeah, I see this man definitely being in conversations for defensive player of the year, maybe. Hey, he's got some great talent. Can be all pro talent potential. Definitely a Pro Bowler. So overall, though, Montez Sweat, uh, perfect guy in a perfect city in a perfect situation right now. So, and he deserves his list.